the animal kingdom. Over 1 million known species exist today. There are more kinds of insects than all other forms of animal life combined. A large part of every insect's life is spent in eating, and this is why they are so important to man. Their silent and oftentimes unnoticed search for food is important to everyone. For all living things, plants and animals alike, provide food for insects. Some insects can eat their own weight in food in only 2 hours. A grasshopper is such an insect. Multiply this appetite countless millions of times, concentrate it all in a farm area, and the grasshopper becomes a competitor with man for his food supply. In this film, we're going to see a few examples of both harmful and beneficial insects. We'll see what and how they eat. The katydid is an insect that eats different parts of many plants. It feeds at night and is seldom seen. Its color and form make it appear deceptively like the plants upon which it feeds. This insect eats often and fast, and normally it eats almost any type of plant. Its mouth parts are well adapted to its food-getting requirements. Fortunately for us, this insect is seldom a problem, for in all stages of life, it's controlled by other insects, birds, and other small animals. Here's an insect that is a problem. This is the larval, or immature stage, of a beetle. This insect feeds only on grain, and feeds mostly during this larval stage. Modern man stores his grain, huge piles of it, and so a situation has been created in which these beetles become pests. They spend their entire lives in the stored grain, burrowing down and eating this basic food of man. When the larvae are full grown, they enter the pupal stage. Now they're alive but dormant. Notice how much they look like the grain in this most defenseless period of life. Eventually, adult beetles emerge from the pupae. They feed and reproduce and will continue to exist here for many generations until the food supply is exhausted. The polyphemus moth larva is an interesting insect feeder. This colorful caterpillar is a determined diner. Its diet is restricted to the leaves of certain trees. The polyphemus feeds only in this, the larval stage of life. The feeding period is a short one, perhaps no more than 60 days. So the caterpillar must eat now, continuously and without delay. Like so many insects, this one's body is especially adapted for feeding in a particular habitat. The polyphemus best supports its heavy weight by hanging upside down by its efficient little suction-like feet. Notice, too, how this slow-moving insect is protected by its resemblance to its surroundings. Even the side markings resemble the veins in the leaves upon which it feeds. When the polyphemus caterpillar is through feeding, never to eat again, it spins a cocoon, using this previously eaten food as stored energy to make silk. This it does with the same determination it displayed earlier in life. The finished cocoon is a hard, leathery sac. It affords good protection to the developing adult within. A window cut in this cocoon exposes the dormant pupal insect, which no longer resembles the feeding larva. It is slowly undergoing complex chemical changes that will eventually produce this beautiful moth. The adult never feeds. In fact, the adult, the pupa, the cocoon, the complex changes in structure, everything is a result of the feeding this insect did for a short period in its life. This imposter looks like something that it isn't. It resembles a wasp, but it's actually a moth. It's called a wasp moth. The adult lays her eggs in the crevice of a tree stem. The eggs hatch, and the larvae feed by boring within the living tree. The larvae pupate inside the tree stem, emerging as adults. All that remain are the empty pupal skins. The tree is either weakened or killed as a result of providing food for this destructive moth. Numerous holes in this piece of dead wood show that it has provided food for other boring insects. These insects are found mostly in forest areas, in the branches and trunks of fallen trees. The insects are termites, a group that eats only dead wood. The termite has a bad reputation because it often eats the wood in people's houses. But these termites are engaged in useful work, helping to decompose a dead tree. Were it not for termites and other insects that feed upon dead wood, the world would be cluttered with fallen trees. And while the termite eats dead plant material, dead animal material is eaten by other insects. These are the larvae of a carpet beetle. They feed exclusively on dead insects and other forms of animal life. They're often pests because they eat the dead animal material with which people make their rugs and clothing. But here they are doing useful work. Within a few weeks, this dead butterfly is reduced to dust, and the dust will enrich the soil and so help support the plant and animal life yet to come. The clothes moth has a bad and well-deserved reputation. The adult insect, however, is not destructive. It's in the larval stage when damage is done. Clothes moth larvae are sometimes found on live sheep, eating the animal's matted hair. But here they are dining on dead wool, made by man into a piece of cloth. The larvae build tunnels in which they live during this immature stage of life. The tunnels are made of wool and digested food. Eventually, this wool will be all tunnels and no cloth. Animal fleas are often present in rugs as well as on animals. Adult fleas spend most of their lives on and annoying a warm-blooded animal. They are parasites, living on the blood of the host animal. But the adult fleas drop their eggs off the host. And so, a more interesting story is often found here. The eggs hatch into tiny, maggot-like larvae. In this stage of life, fleas are scavengers, for they feed on dead hair and other animal tissue found in the rug. Also present in the rug are the dormant flea pupae. After this stage, the adult fleas emerge. When the opportunity presents itself, they crawl or jump onto the host animal, who will provide them with blood for food to complete this cycle of life. The praying mantid is an insect eater. It will eat almost any insect, providing it's alive and not too large. Watch closely as the mantid captures its prey. Because of its predaceous feeding habits, the praying mantid is considered a beneficial insect. Although it sometimes eats useful insects, such as bees, it just as often dines on harmful ones, such as houseflies. Notice the mantid's front legs. They're of no use at all in walking, but are highly developed for another purpose, the job of procuring food. Some insects lead a fantastic life. This one, in its larval stage, is called an antlion. Notice the powerful jaws. Seen microscopically, the jaws reveal hollow tubes running their entire length. They are used to drain the life juices out of a victim. The antlion spends its time in the ground, at the bottom of a pit. The pit is constructed by flipping out sand until the walls are steep pitched. So highly engineered is the finished job that no small insect can crawl up the sides once it has fallen in. The antlion waits at the bottom of its pit, its jaws outstretched. An ant is often the victim. Once the jaws close, the prey is helpless, the victim of one of the most specialized and ingenious insect feeders. The way insects obtain their food is a never-ending story, for insects are most adaptable little animals. New species are discovered each year. New ways of obtaining food are gradually developed, and this is often of great importance to man, because every plant and every animal in the entire world provides food for some kind of insect.